It's me, Vera, here to remind you that this is an adult podcast. That means we're going to deal with tough topics. Take a break if you need it, and be kind to yourself, because we sure won't be.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Stitch of Fate, a Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition podcast. As always, I am your storyteller, Mike Martin, joined by one of my players, Josh, a.k.a. Shaun, and a special guest today, none other than the Jesse Cox, a partner of mine in another podcast that we do together, Chilluminati, and a good friend. What's up, Jesse?
Hey, what's going on? Excited to play this game with you. This is the role I was born to play, baby.
I am very excited because Jesse knows very little, if anything at all, about the world we're diving into. And you're playing a mortal, which is just chef's kiss appropriate. Thank you, everybody at Patreon, for supporting us and allowing us to go into a season 3. This is the second now one-shot with a flashback of our characters' histories. We're excited to see Shaun a little bit further back, before not when he was mortal anymore, but a time shortly after his initial turn. We'll be diving into that very shortly. If you guys have enjoyed and are enjoying the one-shots, please go check us out at patreon.com/podbynight. It's you guys allow us to continue to do these things, and just listening is also huge. Let friends, family know that you guys have found a new vampire podcast to listen to. For that all wrapped up, let's rein it in and set the scene and see what these two fools are up to. As the camera fades in, we're greeted with a dingy lit hallway and a 5-floor apartment building somewhere in a borough in New York. Another building blending in with all similar buildings surrounding it. As the camera flies through the front door and heads up the stairs, we're greeted with none other than 2011's hit song, Don't Wanna Go Home by Jason Derulo. It echoes through the first couple of floors through somebody's apartment, mixed with the screams and arguing of those mixed about. A young child actually sprints down the hallway, back and forth, playing with a plastic truck on the first floor as the two of you continue to ascend. We see Shaun, similar looking as he always has, but around this time, a fresh kindred, having only been within the throes of vampirism for about a year at this point. He knows the coterie, but not well, operates with them out of necessity due to the political dictations of the Camarilla. And beside him, a figure that viewers and listeners would not recognize, a mortal by all accounts. Jesse, may we get a physical description of what our dear friend of Shaun looks like?
Yeah, JC is a guy who, from the looks of it, appears to have had a few bad years. He definitely seems like he's able to take care of himself in a physical way, but not in a mental way. He is pretty strung out. He is pretty messed up. He kind of doesn't know where he is half the time. And his every waking thought is, can I get more? Where do I get more? He cannot function as someone who is not constantly high.
And that makes sense.
He is, he's if you had to look at him, if you saw him on the street, he would look, like a dude in shorts and some ratty sneakers and a t-shirt that says, like, hang in there, kitty. Except it has, like, instead of a cat, it has, like, a lady. And she's, like a waitress, and it's for a restaurant, some restaurant somewhere, like Kitty's Bar and Grill.
And that figure tails just a foot behind Shaun himself. Now, Shaun, what is Shaun looking like in these early nights of kindredhood? Has his fashion changed over the years since we know him in the modern nights?
What was fashionable in 2011? What was this, 11?
Right around 2011.
He's probably in baggy jeans
So not much has changed, is what you're saying.
No, he's shined up significantly since then. I think he's wearing a slightly less tatty version of his favorite jumper, though.
Okay.
It's only got one hole in it.
Hasn't seen the years of wear and tear
of like
that are
10.
ahead of it at this particular time.
Oh yeah, he's not going to let that go.
As the two of you stride now past the 3rd floor, hearing, or rather smelling, what smells like some burning foods eking its way out of one of the apartment doors that is just a crack open by the left-hand side. It's important to know these two characters have been with each other for about a year. And by been with each other, I say have met and hung out sporadically over the course of a year. Shaun is a provider of such fine things such as drugs. And when I say drugs, I mean all of them. There's not much that Shaun can't seem to get and provide to those who ask. However, while Shaun is a purveyor of many, he is not a drug lord, shall we say, by any type. He knows those he deals with rather personally. They tend to be close friends or at least some sort of close acquaintance, and over that year, that's exactly what Jesse's character has become. A close acquaintance of a dealer that provides him some of the highest quality stuff he's ever had the pleasure of imbibing in. And on this night, after spending some time out at the bars and wandering the alleys smoking a cigarette to chill and catching up with each other after maybe not seeing each other for a few weeks, they do what they always do at the end of a night. Make their way back to Shaun's apartment and imbibe on whatever treats Shaun has ready for him at this particular night. As would Shaun tease him in any way? Would there be conversation on the stairwell as you approach the 4th floor before getting to the 5th where your current apartment resides?
Yeah, he's going to be like, all right, Gov, what are you jonesing for tonight?
I don't know. I mean, what do you got? Like, you got Enigma or maybe like Fluke, or I heard there's this thing called Liftoff, man. There's this guy, he was telling me about a thing called Afterburner. I was like, I don't know what that is, but I kind of want to try it.
Mate, okay, so the Afterburner's this knockoff stuff. What you want to try is the jet fuel. That's pure. It's like getting slapped by a goddess with big
As
boobs.
you say the word slap, as you pass by the 4th floor, a door flies open and there's a screaming as a man is shoved down and a woman reaches out and actually does slap him across the face as you pass by and continue the conversation.
I'm like a psychic.
I don't know, man. Looks like that couple could use some hush.
The laughter echoes as you kind of pass by the 4th floor. Most of the sounds of the lower floors now becoming lesser and lesser dominant, and the more you hear just your footsteps scuffing across the concrete stairs, now rounding the corner and finally making your way up to the 5th floor. Of course, there's an elevator in this building, but it's broken and has been for as long as you can remember. Your apartment is all the way at the end of the hall on the right-hand side, final one. And as you walk, you don't hear any conversation coming from your neighbors, which is typical, at least luckily for this apartment building and on this floor. And as you approach your door, may I please get a wits awareness check from both of you?
God damn it.
That's a perception check in this game, Jesse. So like that's you're just like, are you noticing anything?
Sure. I would imagine not.
You are welcome to forego the roll
if
you're able to willingly forego the roll if you'd like.
I mean, I would, in character, would willingly forego this roll. I wouldn't notice.
Fine.
I'm only concerned about, like, is there any chrono in that room? Will I, what's going on? What am I going to get? Am I about to time stop tonight? What's happening?
And
yeah.
Shaun, at rolling a single success, unfortunately, you notice nothing offbeat or off kilter either. You simply walk over to your door, you reach into your back pocket, pull out a couple of keys, fiddle for the right one before sliding into the deadlock, and as it, you get that chunky noise as the key slides in and that of the lock opening, you pull the key back out, you see Shaun slide it back in his pocket, and the door opens with a loud, as always, creak. In fact, you have to lift the door ever so slightly so that it doesn't drag across the ground because the hinges are slightly loose at the top. And the maintenance man ignores every attempt at you reaching out to them. What was that, Shaun?
It ruins the carpet.
Exactly.
To do that.
So you lift and the door swings open with a creak, and you are greeted with what is essentially your mixed living / kitchen dining room, all in one kind of small apartment room. How would Shaun have this decorated as you step into this? Again, this is a dingy, middle of nowhere apartment in the middle of New York.
He would have it decorated with a variety of drug paraphernalia, beer cans, and probably like it's 2011. He would have had one of those like really tall CD towers.
Oh,
next to like
does it spin?
A stolen hi-fi system.
Can you set it up to have it a spiral?
Yeah, it spins. It's got like 3 different angles to it, and but it's like 5 foot tall, full of CDs. Like you could probably find Enya in there if you looked hard enough.
As the two of you kind of step in, we see that giant CD tower. I imagine a beanbag and a dirty couch, maybe a cheap flat screen TV sitting on the floor, pressed up against the wall. You're not super wealthy at this point. Not that you ever really become super wealthy, of course. And as you step in, followed by, I don't apologize, Jesse. Jesse, what's your character's name?
JC Mortal.
And as JC Mortal steps into the apartment, and you kind of slide the door shut against the rug, and do you lock the door behind you, JC, or does JC kind of leave the door unlocked?
I turn and look at Shaun, just like, open or closed.
Put wood in hole, mate. I'm not inviting everyone in.
All right, calm down, Count. It's all right. Don't worry. And I close the door, and I look around the room like, I expected more from your castle.
Yeah, well, it's slim margins, you know. Speaking of, do you have the money?
I mean, you know I have the money. All the time.
But I need
have
to
the
see
money.
it, though.
I mean, of course you do. I mean, why would I not have the money to show you right now? Right?
Because that would be really dumb, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it'd be crazy that I didn't bring money 5 flights up. That'd be. So what do you got?
It depends on how much money you have.
I mean, like a lot.
Yeah?
So much money. Yeah.
So, like, an actual number, though?
I mean, like, a pocket full.
I'm fucking with you. Look, what do you want? He just, like, opens the kitchen drawer, and there's bags upon bags of various color.
Oh, good. He, like, puts his hands on his pockets, and they are, like, flat. He, like, sort of pats them. He's like, oh, right, yeah. I mean, I have the money, but like, I mean, what do you have in here?
It's fine. Well, so this is the Grinch. It's green and it's angry. And if you try some of that, like, if you don't get the money to me in the next couple of days, I'll have to kill you. And
I don't know about Grinch. I had a cousin who tried it, and his heart grew 3 sizes, and he died. He died. It was not cool. It was not. I mean, it was bad. It was not good. Yeah, I don't know that I want that per se.
Well, that's really sad. I'm sorry for your loss.
I mean, I didn't know that guy. He was an asshole.
Oh well,
he was from Jersey. I think he maybe was in the mob. I don't know, man. I don't really talk to that side of my family.
Shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Up or down?
I mean, we're already 5 floors up. Might as well keep going.
Shaun reaches in. Sorry, and we see him scramble around for a big bag. And what color is this thing when you pull it out?
It's like a greenish purple. And he just kind of slaps the bag in your hand. And it's like, now this is purple double dog dare. Just take that, sit on the sofa, and just see what happens.
Like one or two.
It's your call, man.
All right, he takes 3.
As he reaches 3 and spins on his heel, heading over to the couch or the beanbag chair. Where does JC want to potentially lose him?
Beanbag chair.
Him plop in the beanbag chair. Does either one of you go to the CD tower and pick out a soundtrack for this evening? I'm curious what kind of tunes we might have in the background moving forward.
What do you got, man?
So I've got the Titanic soundtrack apparently.
I mean, that's a good one. Do you only have soundtracks? Because, like, can I recommend one of the best soundtracks ever? I'm just saying, Michelle Pfeiffer and Coolio, Gangsta's Paradise. I'm just putting it out there, man.
But okay. But I Raise You, Kiss from a Rose from the Batman soundtrack.
Here's the thing. Not only was that Jim Carrey at the height of his career, but also, more importantly, Tommy Lee Jones. Did you know that in that movie, Drew Barrymore plays like one of Tommy Lee Jones's girls, and it's weird, and she's like dressed in a white nightie the entire time? It's crazy. That was her, man.
I gotta pull this up. He goes over to a shitty laptop.
So as the soundtrack conversation gets brought up, it quickly goes by the wayside to a pop culture rabbit hole as you slide open your laptop and begin to scour the internet as we watch JC Mortal plop into a beanbag chair. And that thing is rather worn, JC. You sink deep. You're probably only like an inch or two at this point from the floor itself when you reach up with your hands and plop, dink, dink, dink. 3 pills onto your tongue. Does he swallow them dry, or does he take it down with a shot or a drink of something? What kind of man is JC?
I mean, do we have stuff to drink right now?
There's probably like a half-empty bottle of vodka right next to you.
I don't want to. I don't want to do that. Yeah, you get cooties or something.
As he swallows them dryly,
well, you
1,
wanna,
2, 3.
You want a clean glass? Like Shaun gets a glass out of the cupboard, scrapes it dry with his shirt and hands it off to you.
What is this for?
Clinks happen as he brings out various bottles of stuff.
Bunch of alcohol is presented before you of different types.
JC looks at you like, what? You know I'm a purist. What am I gonna do? Get high and drunk?
He throws a bottle of water at you.
Hey, that's a good looking out right
it hits
there,
your chest
man.
with a crinkle. I'm gonna need another wits awareness, please. You may forego it as well if you prefer.
Totally forego
as you waiting
Is this
for the
both of
drugs
us?
to hit you. Oh God. Go ahead, Shaun. What? He's foregoing it, so you're gonna be the only one making a roll here.
That's 2.
Ooh,
That's 2
successes with a 10 at the top. Shaun, as you plop open the laptop and you start scouring websites, you start bringing up clips of movies on YouTube, and you can kind of hear them in the background. You think for a moment you might have heard a very quiet coming maybe from, you can't tell if it was the hallway or if it was your bedroom, somewhere on the other side of a wall. A distant cough. You look over to JC to see if he noticed, and he simply is as relaxed as he can be, mumbling something to himself, his eyes still sunglasses very firmly on, gazing at your ceiling that is peeling.
I compare you to a kiss from a rose on the grave. The more I get of you.
Shit.
What?
You hear
What?
someone coughing? Is it?
If you bring it in super low, I'll add one more wits awareness. If you're just gonna kind of quiet it down and listen.
Future Shaun is gonna have to spend some damn XP on
Wits
this.
awareness is very... Whoa! 3, and you both rolled a 3. That's really well done. So as you kind of bring it quiet, you bring the volume down low, JC stops his Kiss from a Rose thing, and you really just keen in listening. You actually can hear the thumping of music a couple floors down, some distant shouting. But after a few seconds, maybe we'll say 10 or 15 of really intense listening, right when you're about to be like, it must be nothing, you hear another, but this time, instead of just a cough, it almost sounds like a gurgle. And that seems to be coming from your room. The door was locked when you came home. There are also bars on windows, as typical in apartments at this particular area. You both heard that.
Shaun's gonna pick up a knife. Like a kitchen knife.
And JC, you always walk strapped. You have a 9mm on you always, at all times. Just so he knows.
You got someone in there? What do you?
not intentionally.
Dog.
I mean, yes, normally, but no.
What? What do you mean? No. There's clearly someone in there, man.
I mean, shut up for 1 second. I'm gonna go
We
look.
see Shaun quietly.
You need me to like back you up, or you want to?
You can back me up.
I mean, like spiritually.
Pray for me, dude. Okay. And
All right,
he
I'll
goes to open the
be
door.
here praying.
So we watch Shaun quietly head to the kitchen, slide a butcher knife out of the sink, clearly dirty from use, God knows, nights, maybe even weeks ago at this point. And as you kind of slide that out and some dishes jangle very quietly, you make your way over to the door. Can I get from you, Shaun, a deck of stealth check, please?
Ooh, okay.
Ooh, you crit 2 10s, so 4 successes technically. With 4 successes, you're able to, as you turn the doorknob to your bedroom and slide it open very, very quietly. The master bedroom actually has no rug. It's a hard wooden floor. Your room is sparsely decorated, much similarly to your living room. You have your bed that lies on the floor. There is no bed frame. It is simply a mattress with sheets on it. Sometimes a pile of dirty laundry over sitting in a corner somewhere, and of course, bits and bobs of empty bottles and leftover needles sitting on the ground, pushed up against the wall as well. But that sight, while typical and expected of you when you open the door, as your eyes adjust to the darkness of your room without light for a brief moment, you see that there's a silhouette on your bed. That silhouette very quickly comes into focus. It is a person, what's left of one anyway, as they lie on their side, leaning up against the wall near the window, where you can see a bar has been clearly dislodged from the window and your window itself has been shattered. This person's jaw is entirely missing, or perhaps should I say, dangling, by a piece of flesh on its left-hand side. Their teeth hang just barely below their shoulder, and their tongue lags out as blood clearly had poured down their throat, over their chest and soaked into their shirt. Your bed is also entirely soaked, as a large chunk of their arm is also missing. From the elbow down on their right-hand side, it looks like the bone was snapped, the skin ripped, and flesh also loosely hangs and soaked your bed in its particular spot. As you see this body, it takes you a moment to realize it is still breathing. Can I get just from you, Shaun, a memory check, which is intelligence resolve?
Oh. I think I put a point into resolve since.
Okay, so remove
beginning
one then.
Of the show, so I'm gonna reduce one. Yeah.
Okay.
That's 2.
As it takes a moment, and Shaun maybe even doesn't even have an opportunity to be shocked before realizing you recognize the face. At the very least, you recognize what's left of the face. There's no name. You don't have a name. It is simply another thin blood that you have come across in the past at an Elysium. The reason that this face is memorable to you is because after that Elysium, you and a few others got together. You were going to celebrate, have a good night out, and this person tagged along. You're certain that this person gave you their name that night, but that night was also a blur for everybody. Now they lie half alive on your bed, bleeding out, with pleading eyes mixed with horror and confusion. Agony also attempts to take over as the dominant emotion, but fear always seems to overtake them. What is Shaun's first reaction now? JC didn't back you up, so he can't see. The door's only open a slight crack from where you kind of pressed up against the wall and opened it and peered in. And this is what you are greeted with.
Shaun's gonna go up to them and just kind of kneel next to them and like check them over. Like, are they making eye contact? Are they?
So for a moment, our vision
anything?
lingers with JC. We see JC, Shaun creak open the door. There's a minor look of surprise before he very quickly slips into the small opening he's gotten. That's when our vision trails. It follows him through the door into the darkness as he hurriedly walks across the hardwood floor, dropping to a knee beside this person. You also notice, as you enter the room, over by the bedside on the floor, a book lay splayed open with a bloody handprint and pages looking soaked in blood. that definitely does not belong to you. You do not recognize it. But that is put on temporary hold in Shaun's mind as he drops to his knee, and you do realize the two of you are locked in eyes. But as you ask questions or perhaps even just say things to them, whatever attempts of noise they attempt to make are just drowned by gurgling on their own vitae that leaks down their throat from their open wounds.
Flicked.
Blood, right?
There is a movement in their head that one could interpret as maybe a nod, but you're not sure if it's mere paranoia or shaking. Every thin blood is different in what aspects that help them or don't. You're not sure, but thin bloods take damage as mortals, supposedly, yet he is still hanging on by a thread. JC, how long do you wait patiently on the outside in the living room? You hear whispered something, but you don't hear anything else.
If anything, I'm more splayed out on the beanbag, almost in sort of like a spread eagle, laying there, my fingers touching the floor, sort of playing with what I assume is just random trash littered about, popping, like taking a soda can, like kunk, 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 like squeezing it and reshaping it, and just making noises as I just keep myself occupied, assuming that there is just some lover or someone in that bedroom, and there's nothing for me to do. So, I'm just going to wait.
That's fine. While we, JC, can you make me a wits awareness roll while our scene hard cuts back into the bedroom, right down to Shaun's vision as he's looming over this dying person in his bed? What is the immediate action Shaun attempts to make? And we'll go back to that roll in a minute, Jesse. That was a 3 success.
Shaun's gonna take the bed sheets and start like trying to bind a hole in someone's face. Like this is not good news.
So
he's gonna put pressure.
Yeah. So
on
we
it.
see you ripping up some sheets, some nearby clothing, and like you said, putting pressure on and wrapping their wounds as best you can. The question is, where do you even begin? The wound in their neck requires wrapping their whole face the best you can, if that would even work. Removing the jaw might be the best. Are you gonna like rip the jaw off as it dangles by whatever tissue and bone and sinew that it can? Can I get an intelligence medicine check from you while you do this?
Ooh, okay. That's
so panic is what we see on Shaun's face as he hurriedly leans over this person, attempting to wrap the wounded, ripped off arm, maybe looking at the face and seeing if there's much they can do.
I think he's gonna shout, "JC, get in here! Do you know anything about bandages, wound, like?"
Okay, as you actually
anything.
You hear this shout at JC as you're crunching cans and listening, but as Shaun's voice echoes from the other room, you also hear something. It sounds like it's coming from outside the window of the living room, but close, which is confusing as you're 5 stories up. But it's not a voice, it's not words. It sounds something more akin to sloshing, deep grumbles. Something animalistic, perhaps.
Yeah, JC sort of like pushes himself off the beanbag in the best way possible, and he stands up and goes, "Ooh!"
And that's when you realize it's starting to hit you.
There we go.
Yeah.
A little faster than expected, but like, welcome. And he turns to face the window to see what could possibly be making this noise, and sort of presses his face to the glass to look out.
We see JC place his face smushed up against the glass, the vision swings outside the building, where we actually do see him very, very tightly pressed up against the window. But before we see what he sees, we shift over to the room over, through the broken window. Shaun is looking over his shoulder, and JC is not responding whatsoever. It's very possible the drugs have started to take him.
Oh, fuck.
You realize the vision of this person laying in the bed is now beginning to lose you. They're not looking at you anymore, sometimes through you. and their vision is slowly beginning to fade.
He's gonna get the kitchen knife, and he's gonna stab his own hand.
Okay.
And like squeeze his fist into this guy's
try
mouth,
and
like move the bed sheets out of the way, and like squeeze his own blood down this guy's throat.
So you're gonna try and squeeze some vitae, some kindred vitae into his mouth, and we watch as you quickly slash your hand. Thick. Your blood, unlike mortal blood, is still thicker than most. However, it's not quite as thick as a full-blown kindred's blood. So it leaks out a little faster than any kindred's would, and down the open hole that you hope is this person's throat, in hopes that some healing will take place. And as the blood drips from your hand, again, our vision pulls out that broken window, now shifting back to the window where we see JC now looking to the other side. And what JC doesn't see, but we see for a brief moment before JC sees, is what looks to be a human clung to the side of the brick wall, incredibly dark and hard to see to the naked eye unless a light was directly placed on it. Their arms, however, are no longer truly arms. Their fingers have elongated to over a foot long each one sharp as a knife, buried into the side of the brick of this house. Their face, reminiscent of human, lacking all facial hair, but their eyes are certainly human. But as it goes down towards its nose, it collapses in on itself and becomes a void of circular teeth, rows and rows and rows deep. His body is nothing more than skeletal, skinny and emancipated as though they were a decomposing corpse, but you can see their muscle on the outside on their leg, as their legs bend backwards and their feet, no longer truly human, rotated on each side so that their heels have become giant hooks, hooked into the side of the building. And it moves incredibly slowly, one finger at a time as it climbs closer to the window, just as the claws hook that metal bar and peer over. JC, you simply see mad white eyes with black pupils dilated entirely, peering around a corner from the top right of the window. And it takes a moment as its eyes look around wildly before it locks on to you. And the two of you, for a moment, share a gaze. You do not see the details of this creature yet, though. Simply the bald head, no eyebrows, just the eyes. Answer.
Question. Is there a roll I can do to determine whether, one, I view this as real or as part of a trip?
Yes, there is a roll. Resolve.
Because I guess that would determine how I react, right?
I would give you a resolve plus composure check. Okay, so you rolled one success. You are not convinced that this is not just a hallucination, that this is, well, I guess the other way around, where you rolled really low, so the trip would completely take you in a way, so you're not sure. You would think that maybe this is part of the trip. You're not entirely certain.
All right, yeah. Yeah, JC stumbles backwards over the beanbag and falls to the floor, and you hear a thud and some cans and bottles sort of roll away, and he screams like, "Oh, damn! You got Spider-Man up here! Man, I think you gave me the bad stuff, man. Oh, shit!"
Hard cut as he's like freaking out on the floor and looking through the window. We hard cut back to the room where Shaun finishes squeezing whatever blood. How many points of hunger are you going to give yourself, basically, Shaun?
Where am I starting from?
Yeah, we'll just start like any normal day, a 1.
Let's go to. Don't like this guy that much. Let's go.
You barely know them. You only had one night with them as far as you can even remember. So you go 1 point of hunger, so bring up your hunger by 1. And Shaun, as you pull your hand back, you hear this JC freaking out in the other room. You look to the body, you can't tell if it's dying still or feeling better or not, but you know your friend or companion or whatever you want to call acquaintance is in the other room, potentially having an incredibly bad trip. Again, because you know he took 3. What would Shaun do after that? Would you wait by this person?
He's gonna. He's gonna go and check on JC because something's.
As you look, can I get a wits awareness as you go to the door? You swing it open and look, and the first thing you're greeted with is JC on the floor, on his back, freaking out, absolutely losing it. The beanbag having been pushed back and some cans knocked over by the side. However, an immediate look around, you don't see anything. There doesn't seem to be anything in the room. You don't see, like, nothing immediately comes to view with one success on your wits awareness roll. So you look, he's clearly having likely a bad trip.
JC, just, I begin to pick you up. What's going on? Just get in your beanbag chair, have a good time.
No, man. I put my face in the glass, and it was like cool. And you know, like when sometimes you put your face in the glass, and it's like a little chilly, and it's kind of it feels good. And then I was looking out the window, and then there was a guy, and I saw these eyes. I saw eyes. I saw
JC,
eyes. I saw eyes. I saw eyes.
JC, need a wits awareness from you. As you're being brought over by Shaun, he's like looking at you and taking care of you, like, come on, I saw eyes. I saw eyes. You're kind of like being walked backwards a bit. You're still facing the window. Oh, you rolled a critical success, 210, so you get 4 successes technically. As you're being brought back, and Shaun's just like, yeah, it's really cool, yeah, it feels good. You actually see very quickly the whole silhouette of this creature scamper across the window, and you can even hear that as it quickly goes across the window from right to left. You get a decent look at its long, skinny appendages, but details are still hard at night that dark.
No, man! I pull out my gun and point it at the window.
Wait, Shaun, did you know he was trapping?
Put that shit away.
No.
Do you want me to get?
I know
I'll give you this good stuff.
Spider-Man. Spider-Man takes care of bad guys, and I'm a bad guy.
No, you're not a bad guy. You're a really good guy. Look,
no,
do you want me to?
I'm not. Oh,
you
man.
are. You're great. I love you. I love having you around.
At all times, man. This is not cool. This is not
look,
cool.
Man,
this is not cool.
I can calm you down. Just, you want me to give you the good stuff? I'll give you the good stuff, and it'll like counteract it.
What do you mean counteracting?
That's how it works. I'm the guy who does this. Just chill.
Did you not see that? Did you not see that?
I didn't see anything. It's just part of the drug.
Did you not see that?
I just need you to work with me here. Just calm down. Yeah? Put the gun away. Calm down. Right. You want me to help you calm down?
Look me in the eyes. I pull off the sunglasses that he's wearing for some reason, even though it's like night. He still has sunglasses on. He pulls them off and looks at you. He's like, "Look me in the eyes. I'm just high right now."
Shaun, I need you to make me a charisma leadership roll to effectively convince JC that in fact he's just high. He's just seeing things.
Shaun's gonna turn on orb here to like exude an aura of confidence, and like he looks him in the eyes, and his eyes begin to like sparkle, and like,
oh my god,
you
rolled 3 10s.
That is 3
and luckily
tens.
your first 2 10s were in the normal die pool, so you're not critting with the hunger die. So you rolled a 5 successes, which in terms of the game means you succeed in a very hard skill check if you were going by just raw rules. But Jesse, as JC is being Shaun begins to speak, it's like the rest of the room kind of disappears. Not truly, but when like a true public speaker takes the stage, how all eyes are enraptured on them. This simple man, as he opens his mouth and begins to speak words to you, it's as though the rest of the room disappears, that you're the only thing that matters to him, and as long as he's paying attention to you, what he speaks is truth, and everything holds gravity. And what is exactly that Shaun says to him? As he kind of puts his arms on his shoulders, looks him in the eyes as JC removes the sunglasses, and you're looking into his wild, dilated eyes. What does Shaun say?
Oh, sorry. Just calm down. Close your eyes. Think of a beach. I'll make you feel better.
Oh, I mean, like, that sounds pretty all right.
Yeah.
So
no
like,
Spider-Man, right?
No Spider-Man. It's just, I kind of look at my gun. Do you like want this or?
Yeah. I'll take that. Just close your eyes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, like.
Do you gently lower him into the couch or the beanbag chair?
Yeah. And while he's got his eyes closed, I'm gonna bite him.
Okay. So as he closes his eyes and you're telling him to relax, and we see you kind of just like chill, and JC kind of fades and melts into this idea of going to a beach to unwind, and we see you open your mouth, and as from your gums, your fangs extract, and you begin to lower yourself down to his neck, but I need a wits awareness from you before you bite.
2.
As you're about to sink your teeth in, you hear from the other room. JC is kind of lost in the sauce. You may make a wits awareness roll, but I'm going to imply a -1 penalty to the roll if you choose to make the roll, because he's guiding you towards this like sporadic meditation in a way. But you can forego the roll as well. Your choice, JC.
I mean, I feel like even though I believe what you're saying, my senses would be heightened enough that I'd still be like, if I hear a noise, I'm going to be like, what is that?
Wits awareness for me, please, JC.
Okay.
You also hear from the other room that is suddenly silenced, it sounds like.
My eyes sort of pop open. What was
Shaun
that?
snaps back very quickly.
It was my friend. He's hurt. Do you know it? Look, let me just show you. It's nothing weird. He's really hurt, though.
JC looks at you and is like, were you trying to kiss me, man? Is that what you trying to... Shaun? You dirty perv.
Oh my fucking God.
Man, if you would have just, like, I don't know, if you asked, we could have, like, made a deal or something. Like, you got stuff I want, I got stuff you want, clearly. Dude, what's the matter with you?
Okay, this is going to sound weird, but now you have to come into the bedroom with me.
What do you... I mean, like, I told you I wouldn't pay.
So JC lifts himself up, hoists himself up off the couch, get into a sitting position before he pushes himself up off the couch entirely, and is led to the bedroom by Shaun.
He is way more stumbly this time.
Yeah, he probably nicks his shin on a nearby table, maybe even kicks a couple of the cans before catching himself. But Shaun is able to successfully lead him to the bedroom. And as the door opens so you walk them in, the sight you're both greeted with is surprising for Shaun and reaffirming for JC. That creature is in this room, pinned into the corner of the wall with its 2 legs, or its 2 hooked heels at one point, into your drywall, dangling itself downward, truly like a spider might from a web. But in doing so, as you watch, as you look at this figure silhouette all the way down, the person in your bed is now clearly long dead, as the sharp nail-like blades that its fingers have extended beyond its arms are firmly in the center of its skull. And as you step into the room, you hear the crack like a coconut as the skull is cracked open, and its neck protrudes forward, extending unnaturally, almost as though it was buried into its own chest, as its circular-like mouth extends outward. And through the skull, you watch it begin to rip apart what meat and flesh as it devours it almost ravenously, unaware of the 2 of you in the doorway, only able to be seen by the moonlight coming through the window.
It was real! Fucking shoot it!
I gave you my gun! Oh, shit!
So the first reaction from Shaun, as this is a moment of realization, is, oh my God, it was real. Fucking shoot it. Sure.
Yeah, I realize I have the gun, so I guess I'm going to shoot it.
Yeah, you watch as JC quickly reaches where he typically keeps his weapon, and JC also suddenly realizes he handed his weapon over to Shaun. And there is that moment of recognition, but as you speak those words, you obviously draw its attention. You can hear a splattering of brain matter and blood on the ground as its head comes ripping out of the skull rapidly to see the 2 of you. Combat works in this game simultaneously, so you basically dictate what you want to do in combat, and then depending on where you, like if you're melee or ranged, you go first or second. So, Shaun, what do you want to do? You want to shoot this thing?
Yeah.
What does JC want to do now that he is weaponless?
JC turns and runs into the other room.
Okay, so each round in this game, by the way...
I guess I'm going to, like, look for a weapon.
Okay, yeah, so we imagine JC makes his way to the kitchen then for a knife or something along those lines. Does Shaun keep a weapon stash somewhere in the house?
Shaun definitely has a weapon stashed somewhere.
How well would you have hidden this thing?
It's just like in a drawer.
Okay, cool.
It's
so then we won't even have JC roll. He will end up spending his turn ripping open drawers and finding the gun. So you will find the gun on this turn, while Shaun pushes his pistol up and fires a shot. So Shaun, dexterity firearms roll, please, while he also gets a roll.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a rouse check to get extra on this.
I
get hungrier.
3 hunger now. He's making a pure defensive roll. Oof. You rolled 1 success. As you whip the gun up and pop a shot, you see as it quickly unlatches its heel hooks out of the wall and just bounds from the left wall to the right one, colliding with a few bottles before it stands upright as it falls off the wall looking at you. It didn't attack, it went pure defensive, but its mouth sags open and the rows of teeth almost hang out of it like a loose leech's mouth would, like just kind of loosely gapped out. And as the two of you meet your vision, you see it and the mouth kind of falls back into its mouth. And the mouth reforms into its face. Next round, JC has a gun. I imagine you want to go to the door and pop a shot at this thing as best you can. Is that what JC would do?
Yeah, panicked, trying his hardest to help, but having no clue what's going on and seeing blood everywhere and a monster, an actual monster. Yes.
Yes. Shaun?
Shaun's gonna back up and keep firing.
Okay, so both of you, please make me a dexterity plus firearms check. As you kind of raise your gun, you both roll through 3 successes. That's great. So as you kind of sit there and you for a moment, you're just trying to stop the shaking, Shaun. You're trying to just focus, and you can feel, well, it's still a relatively new thing for you. You can feel your pupils dilate, your nerves calm as you really rely on really the supernatural thickness of your blood to bring you to a being that is further and beyond human. You can control yourself much more than other mortals. While you may not have the similar control as a true-blooded kindred, there's still a large advantage to being even half-blooded. And with 3 successes from both of you, as you both open fire on this thing, you both watch as both of your bullets hit. One hits the shoulder. JC's, yours rips through the shoulder. You can see a small splatter of blood from behind it. Its flesh at this point you realize is actually incredibly thin as it rips open into a much larger gaping wound than a 9mm gun should. And Shaun, as you pop a shot into its hip, the same thing. Blood splatters on the ground, skin rips, and it makes an ungodly kind of fleshy noise at the both of you again as it roars in aggression, realizing it's no longer going to be defensive and now needs to be aggressive. It just sounds again like as you watch the mouth just kind of churn and churn. It's moving toward you. What are the two of next round? What are the two of you going to do? JC's in the doorway. Are you going to kind of back out for it? And they're going to, okay, keep line.
No, I'm just going to like panic.
Keep firing, just emptying the clip at this thing. Shaun?
Yeah.
Okay, you can make me your firearm dex roll, JC. And what about Shaun?
I think Shaun's gonna try and like push it into a position where it's easier for JC to peg it with the gun. Peg is probably the wrong word.
So you want to try and like flank the thing? You're trying to like maneuver into a somewhat flanking position? Is that my understanding?
I think I'm trying to like take out its legs or something, like get it on the floor so it's moving less.
You're doing a targeted call at the legs, is what you're saying. Target a shot at the legs.
Yeah, I think so.
So that's I think a leg shot is -1. I think it's not that hard to hit. So take a -1 to your die pool. Depending on what he rolls, Jesse, I might have you re-roll with a bonus because he's purposely trying to give you a bonus on your shot. So let's see what he rolls first.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna get in close. Strength brawl -1.
Oh yeah, strength brawl -1. You're going in. What are you going in with your hands? Or are you going with the knife?
He's going in with his hands. Like he's probably lost the knife.
So just trying to like take out a kneecap or like bust what you can. So we watch as Shaun.
Yeah, just like kick
what
it in the kneecap.
You just keep the gun by your side?
Yeah, he's still got it like in his hand. He's just like trying to kick at it and get it on the floor.
He's gonna get a. Okay, so JC, you watch as Shaun kind of just barrels forward without a second thought. No word of warning. He simply moves forward. And he, like you said, you go in for a kick in the knee. And we see as you get closer, there's not a huge amount of room in this to throw a full kick. So you just see that your upper thigh, you kind of just bring it and collide it with his kneecap. This thing stands much taller than you guys at like 6.5 feet. So hitting its knees, and its knees are really, its legs are really long. Hitting its knees is not that hard. And you actually feel how fragile this creature is up close as its legs and knees, the one you collide with, audibly snap in the room as it stumbles to its left, catching itself with one of its long bladed fingered hands, holding itself up from the ground as it lets out another glorpy noise. Doesn't seem to have a roar. It cannot seem to make anything more than this churning flesh noise. JC, I'm going to have you re-roll your firearms plus dex with a +1. Oh my God. As you hear that snap and the leg cracks and it falls to its side, it catches itself and its mouth kind of falls out. It's the first time JC is seeing its mouth fall out without it being attached to a skull. It looks upward, but it looks to you, Shaun, as it looks, again, it's hard to tell. It's almost too animalistic, but it seems aggressive. And then it begins to let out that churning noise. But before we really have a chance for it to attack you, you hear a fired shot from behind you. You can actually hear a whipping noise as the bullet flies past your ear, and the spatter as the bullet collides with the eye and brain spatters on the wall into the back side, and the thing quickly becomes limp and falls on its side to you. There's a small twitch, a few throbs before you realize this thing is...
Soon as it twitches, I'm stamping on its head.
You see Shaun, JC, quickly get up and just begin to stomp on this thing over and over on the hardwood floor, and that rhythmic thumping quickly becomes almost as though you're squishing grapes as the skull eventually does cave in on itself, also being rather fragile compared to that of a normal mortal, and instead just kind of oozes whatever bodily fluids are on the inside across your floor. You are aware that this is obviously dangerous because you do not know what this is, Shaun, but this is also not likely, this is a huge masquerade breach if ever discovered. Well, it technically is right now because of who's in the room with you.
Oh shit. Oh,
JC, you see Shaun angrily stomping the head over and over until it becomes like smushing stomped before he stops for a minute. You see him panting for a moment, but now this thing is dead on the ground, this creature that you've never seen before. And the corpse, the body on the bed with a split skull, you see full on its wounds, its missing jaw, its missing arm.
JC, like, it's quiet enough that you can hear the gun drop to the floor.
Clatters.
And you hear a step back. And he's like, I should be going right now.
Wait. Shaun comes up to you and grabs you by the scruff. What the fuck was that?
None of my business.
It was a bad trip. That's just forget you saw all of that.
I didn't see anything. Just okay. I'm gonna go now. I'm gonna go.
As he's like trying to pull away, the two of you hear audible knocking on your door. You hear bang, 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 bang. Bang, 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 bang.
Help me this once. You stall whoever's at the door. I will go and clear this up so we don't look like we murdered people, okay? And like Shaun goes over and like starts dragging this thing into the bedroom.
You were in the bedroom. You killed it in your bedroom.
Oh yeah, he's just like
hiding it, trying to put under sheets or
starts
something.
Scooping, hiding things and like closing the door and like looking around and shit.
Yeah, JC kicks the gun into the bedroom and like closes the door quietly. It's like, all right then.
Over to the door he goes. Does JC go answer the door? There's a peephole.
Yeah, JC just says, who is it?
There's audible awkward silence for like a beat before there's a quiet but audible voice. Larson. That doesn't mean
Sorry,
shit to you, JC. That name means nothing.
There's no one here by the name Larson, man.
No, my name is Larson. I know, Shaun. Can you let me in?
Shaun's not here, man.
So you can't hear on anything other than JC's side of the conversation, Shaun. Just keep that in mind. I highly doubt that, and the longer time you wait, stranger, the more likely the police are going to show up.
Well, why did you even like say so? Hold on, let me like Welcome to my humble abode. And I open the door and sort of like
As
bow.
you open the door, you're greeted with a plain-looking man. He wears jeans, a brown overcoat with a white t-shirt underneath, a 5 o'clock shadow with brown hair, and slicked back, gelled, short brown hair as well. A very plain face that would not stick out to you at any point. He sees you and simply gives you a nod, looks past you before, walking in, and then turns to make sure that, and watches as you make sure you lock the door behind you.
Oh, I mean, like, I was on my way out, so I can close the door if you want me to, like, I can just leave right now if that is, like, cool with you.
I'm going to need some background information to make sure the cops don't come facing and looking for you. So if you wouldn't mind, so we can figure out what happened here and then we can move on. So,
Right. No, I mean, hi. My name is CJ Lordle. Huge, I like, like
he like puts up his hand as you begin to like babble. And he's like, just call me, you can call me Detective Larson. I am a friend of Shaun's and I'm the reason he hasn't been put behind bars over these years. Good friends.
Oh, right. No, I mean, like, yeah, because, oh my God, he has so much drugs, dude. It's so wild.
You watch,
it's so crazy.
Stacey, you watch as Larson slides his hands in his pockets and just kind of raises his eyebrows very briefly at you, and then kind of patiently looks around before saying, Shaun, are you in here? Shaun, you can hear through the door,
Nope.
Familiar voice.
Shaun is not in this room at all. Let me tell you, he is certainly not here. And if he was here, it would not be in this room. That is, I can assure you of this.
Hey, Larson, how's it going?
Bedroom door opens and Shaun stands in the doorway and he turns. I was in the area and I heard gunshots. Wanted to make sure there wasn't any issues, but seems like there might be. Mind if I take a look? Before he actually stops himself and he stands, he actually stops himself, puts his hands up. Before I need to, is this a mortal affair or rather he would say, is this a kind affair or is this a kindred affair?
It's so fucked up. I don't know what happened. This wasn't me, okay? When people ask, this wasn't me, it's kindred business. It's complete bullshit.
Let me look.
You tell him your story like we thought it was a drug trip, right?
He looks to you, JC.
Yeah, you ask me and I'm like half out the door. Like, oh, right, yeah, no, I mean, like, it was, oh, I am so very high, and I should go. I need to get to bed. And it's like get to bed with a hot minute.
Shaun,
like, I clearly none of my business.
As he's like trying to make his way out the door, Larson looks to you, Shaun. He's like, I'm going to take a look at your room. Why don't you talk to your friend here for a few minutes?
Okay. Detective Larson over here is going to like cool things down. Why don't we just chill and have a spliff, okay?
What if, hold on, what if I like go home and I just sleep and like wake up tomorrow and the trip is over and like I'm fine. And I don't even like, I won't even like bother you. I won't even like bother you anymore. I won't even come back. Like I don't even, who are you? What? I've never seen your face before in my life.
That's really good, man. But if you go home, I don't think you're waking up tomorrow. So your best bet is to stay here. I'll look out for you. Okay?
Are you threatening me, Shaun?
No. But he is.
Was it a detective is threatening me? Right now, a detective is threatening me?
Yes.
Why is he threatening me? I didn't even do anything.
I know, which is why I'm going to convince him that this was all like not your fault, and you can just like you can go.
What if I like don't go home? Like, what if I go to like Cheryl or Stephanie or Tiny's house? Like, let's I go, and it won't even be my own home.
Because
like,
I
what
know
is a
where
home?
those places
A home
are.
is just where the heart is, right? It's just where the heart is.
Yeah. But I know where those places are.
Like, what if I tell you? What if I go places that you don't know though?
Your best bet to survive is to stay here.
He looks at you dead in the eyes and is like, fine. If I stay, I want all of it.
Are you really right now?
All of it.
That's like 2 weeks.
Right.
You'll kill yourself. Are you kidding me? That's fucking 2.
Like,
Okay,
take it or leave it, man. Take it like all of it or none of it.
Fucking fine, all of it.
Great. All right. Let's get. What do I got to do, buddy?
As he says that,
You got to sit down. You got to let me do the talking.
the bedroom door swings open.
Unless he asks you questions.
Larson stands there interrupting conversation with a book in his hands. Shaun, can I just have a word with you?
Yeah. He's just gonna have a seat in the beanbag chair. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, like, no problem here.
His beanbag chair, which he'll take home later.
Right. Might be bad. Chair.
Larson like looks past him with like, all goes well. This is under his property legally. You may not have seen anything, and we may just be able to let you go tonight. So just sit around. Give me a few minutes. I need to talk to Shaun.
Okay.
As he walks you into the bedroom, leaving JC on the beanbag chair, and our vision goes with them into that bedroom, we hear the click of the door. He turns to you, and it seems the veneer seemingly drops, at least partially, still remaining calm and collected. Do you know why this happened, Shaun? Do you know this person? Do you have any idea as to why they would have come to your place?
I met them once.
Do you have...
A while back.
He looks to them, is like, yeah, I recognize the face. I allowed them, I gave them counsel while they were allowed in the camera alone. Like I tend to do with our kind. That, and he points to the creature.
I mean, I'm sure.
That is not one of ours.
No shit.
I don't know what it's...
What
he shakes
is
his head. Theories only, but I need to speak with people. It could be a one-off, or it could be a sign of something. And he shrugs kind of nonchalantly as his hands slide back into his pockets. The issue will be taken care of. One of the Ventru owners of this block, they're going to condemn the building in the morning. Everybody's going to be evicted, and the building will be brought down. Evidence will be wiped away and taken care of, and nobody will know. Until then, I have coroners coming in and cleaners coming in to take care of the bodies, and we'll take this to the tower if needed. In the meantime, there was a masquerade breach. You understand?
Yeah. We'll clean it up. We'll get rid of the body, and we'll just. I'll fix up everything here. There's no need to do anything rash.
It's not rash. It's what has to be done, Shaun. If I don't condemn it, the sheriff will, and I can't give him time to get away and potentially leak whatever he saw out there. It needs to be taken care of tonight and before I leave this room, before I leave this building. I understand this is difficult, and if you want me to do it, I'll do it.
No. He didn't see anything. It was just a drug trip to him.
He kind of bites his tongue and shakes his head. He's a liability, Shaun. The prince is... Well, you don't know Pan well yet, but she has a zero tolerance policy. New York was a hard-won city. She refuses to lose it.
We got rid of the problem.
We got rid of the main problem, but all problems tend to create secondary shadows of which we have to stamp out. Letting him out of here is not how this is going to work out, Shaun. Not as he is. And we looks to him, kind of like looks himself up and down, and then looks to you. Lack abilities to make them obedient. I could call in a favor and maybe somebody will take him in, but he's just a street rat, isn't he? What skills, what talents does he provide that anybody would find valuable?
He's a funny dude. He's my friend.
Shaun, I thought we talked about this. You have to leave the mortal life behind you. You will outlive all of them, even as you are a Duskwalker. Politics don't play favorites, and the prince... Again, I could call in a favor, but you know how it goes. He doesn't provide value, they'll take him out anyway.
Fine. I'll listen to your wise fucking teachings.
I'll do it if you want.
Shaun, gets out the gun.
You see Larson's kind of just nods and closes his eyes, and then turns back to the bodies as he pulls a cell phone out, and you see him begin to text somebody.
I do this and you tell me everything. Why this dude was here.
He looks to you, and he actually looks to the book that's on the ground, still splayed, spattered with blood. Their answers are likely going to be in there, at least to some form. He shrugs his shoulders. Never saw the book. Didn't see it while I was here. Yours.
Shaun's gonna pick it up.
As you look quickly at some pages, it genuinely looks like rambling rubbish. There's lots of paragraphs written to the side of pages, sigils and runes, a lot of formulas, a whole lot of mathematics and formulas as you continue to flip by. But on a first glance, it doesn't look like anything recognizable, not something you would have learned in school.
You deal with what's in here.
Already am. The camera clings to Shaun's shoulder as he turns and begins to walk out the bedroom door.
Yeah, you see me half out the door.
Have you got a bundle of drugs in your arm?
Oh yeah, I'm trying to run with your drugs right now. Yes.
Like the fucking in Aladdin, the guy with money in his pants from the first one as he's running in the opening.
Yes. I have. You know how sometimes, especially in swim trunks, if your swim trunk got really wet but it had pockets, the pockets, if you put stuff in the pockets, they would hang below the actual pant line, and it looks like that. Like my shorts are too high for the pockets of drugs that I've stuffed in there, and I'm trying to get out the door.
Hey man, we figured it out. Hey, and I'm gonna run after you into the corridor.
Yeah, JC does not even. He's like, okay, cool, and he starts running.
You just he straight up starts sprinting.
Down the hallway,
start falling out of your grip occasionally as you go down the stairs. Like a baggie will fall out.
Just pills, just falling on the ground as I'm running. Yeah.
Shit. Don't fucking steal from me, man. I'm gonna shoot you.
Oh shit! In the hallway. So Jesse, since you're running and defensive, you're rolling a dexterity plus athletics. That counts as your dodge roll. And Shaun is gonna roll his dexterity plus firearms skill. Whoever has the most successes, you succeed. Oh my god.
Ooh. Well, I rouse checked anyway. I'm at hunger 5.
Holy shit! You put yourself at 5 hunger? You're insane.
Yeah.
One more. If you have to do anything with hunger, you go down. That's crazy. All right. Well, shoot. You're rolling against a 1 defense because he rolled 1 success.
That's
so
2.
you take 1 damage as he fires a bullet, and as you round the stairs to turn, it clips the back of your calf as a little blood spatters. It doesn't pierce your muscle, but it rips the skin. You take 1 point of damage. Jesse, you have 5 health, so you've taken 1 so far.
You son of a bitch! I take some of the drugs I'm holding, I throw them at you down the hall, just haphazardly, as I try to run down the stairs.
So you're going to keep sprinting?
Wait, aren't guns plus 3?
Oh, plus 3. That's right. So you're still up, though. He's still up. He did pierce your leg.
Okay.
You are bleeding profusely, but you're still running, and you're still up. I forgot the...
I'm hobbling down the stairs.
Yeah, hobbling as you're hobbling and your drugs are going. At this point, as the gun goes off on the hallway, Shaun, you hear as all the conversation on the at least 2 floors goes dead silent as the gunshot echoes through the hallway and down the stairs. You then hear, to the dead of silence, JC shouting, "You son of a bitch!" as it runs and pills are flying, but he's still moving. Okay, Shaun, what are you going to do?
Just stop, give them back, and we can be square. And I'm gonna shoot.
So you're gonna try and shoot him.
Again.
I'm gonna consider him because now you're kind of going down a spiral staircase. You're shooting from the top down, so he's gonna have partial quote unquote cover. So you're gonna get a -1 penalty shooting him. Jesse, you're gonna make your dexterity athletics roll again. Oh my god, nice. Okay, not a crit, but still 4 is a lot. Do you have to succeed for the +3 to happen, or do you automatically get +3 with the weapon? I always forget.
I think it's usually
Yeah, that's what I thought
succeed,
too.
right?
All right, let's see what you roll.
And this,
Mr. 5 fucking hunger.
there we go.
Did you crit? No, you didn't crit. Okay.
No.
So you pop a shot, and it's just as he turns to go underneath basically where you're standing. And JC, a bullet ricochets off the drywall near you, shattering a bunch of drywall powder kind of in the area, and it like hits your face for a minute, but he doesn't hit you. You're down 2 floors. You're on the 3rd floor so far. You've got to go down to 2 and then 1, and then you're out.
I scream loudly to anyone who will hear that their bodies. I'm like, their bodies! Oh my god, he's a killer! He's a killer! This guy is a killer! I scream as loudly as I can that like, everyone get out, save me! Help yourselves! I like lose my mind. I'm like running and banging on the walls and like screaming as loud as I can.
You're still hobbling at this point, obviously, but he's making a fucking racket. If nobody called the cops before, they are now with 2 gunshots and screaming. It's not again, for Shaun's peace of mind and the Camarilla side of things, shootings happen in World of Darkness, New York all the time. It would be something that you don't want the cops here, but nobody is thinking like anything supernatural is going on. So as he barrels, I just want Jesse to propose to you as well. You're about 2 floors out. You could probably hoist yourself up over the railing and plummet those 2 floors and make a roll, but it would be more risky.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm gonna keep running. I'm no dumb. I'm gonna keep I'm trying to get downstairs.
Yeah.
I'm not like, and then I will go into a hallway where you have a better shot. Please.
All right.
I'm living, son. I'm being a guy. I'm be a thorn in your
give
back.
me another dex.
I'll be right in your butt. That thorn. You can't
Another
get rid of
dex
me.
firearm skill from you at a -1 as Jesse. Just give me another dex athletics roll as you continue making your way down floor at a time. You've had 2 gunshots go off now. Jesse with 2. That's not very high.
Yeah, Shaun's gonna chase him down.
Okay,
and
you want to
like,
just try and keep up with him.
because he's missing with the gun, so he's just like
so
chasing him down.
I will
and,
say
like,
you will
gonna
catch
grab
up with him, but because he's hobbling, he's obviously going to be a little slower and you're going to be a little faster. You 2 will catch up at the point of the front door of the apartment building. That's right when you'll catch up to him as we see Shaun kind of huff in frustration, probably getting pissed off, sliding his gun in a back pocket, and you see him running down the stairs at full blast as JC is limping and bleeding and screaming and banging on the walls. You get down the 2nd floor and the 1st floor. JC realizes he stopped shooting, and you can hear him barreling down the stairs with his feet. And just as you're going for the nearby door is when he's going to he's going to be within like melee range of you, so to speak. Are there words the 2 of you want to say to one another before whatever happens next happens? You can actually hear distant police sirens on the outside as well as you get to the door. The distant sirens of the police are,
"Don't be a bitch!"
Yeah, and JC like turns to look at you and tries to kick the door open with it like the back of his foot, and he flips you the bird.
It flies open
with both
it's
hands.
It's an old apartment building. The door is flimsy. It's not really locked well. With a hard kick, this door flies open, and you kind of back out and stumble into the sidewalk. Shaun, what are you doing? Are you trying to tackle him? What are you going to do? It'd be way easier to shoot him now, but he would.
I'm gonna
so
grab
you go
him.
out the door. Give me a strength plus brawl as Jesse. You can either dex athletics to try and wiggle away, or you can also strength plus brawl and win the grapple if you beat him. Those are your 2 choices.
I'll just wiggle away. I mean, I'm that guy. I'm not gonna be like, I'll fight you.
You're not gonna be taking a minus on any of this anymore. In fact, because he's limping, you now are gonna take a +1, Shaun, trying to tackle him. With just 1 success more than a JC mortal. Shaun barrels out the front door, grabs him by the legs. JC lets out like a little pained scream, but down to the ground the 2 of you go, tussling, where Shaun is the dominant one, winning this grapple check more or less. What does Shaun want to do from this point on? Do you want to try and bite attack? Do you want to try and like punch him? Do you just want to talk to him?
Shaun's gonna kick the shit out of him. He's just gonna be like on top, just beating him in the face.
Okay. Strength brawl.
You're my friend, man. We could have made this easy.
Strength brawl as I imagine JC is trying to get away. So dexterity athletics. You can't take too much before you go unconscious from blood loss and just damage. But we'll see.
Yeah, like while I'm trying to squirm out of it, I'm like, friends don't lie to each other.
3 successes with Jesse and 4 successes with Shaun. That leaves 1 damage that you're able to do to him. And as he's like, friends don't lie to each other. As he kind of speaks that, you bring up your right fist and collide it with the right of his jaw, the left of his jaw. You can actually hear a definitive click as he then goes out unconscious. That one punch puts him out completely. He splays out completely limp. He's bleeding out of his leg at this point. And more or less, unless he receives immediate medical attention or kindred blood, he's going to die. Just the blood loss is going to be too much.
Shit. Fuck.
Some people are passing by, but most people don't seem to give too much of a shit.
I'm going to drag him back in the...
Okay.
Back
For
in the...
one round, you drag him
thing.
in. You drag him back in, out of sight, and hopefully nobody comes to. The police sirens don't sound super close, but you can still hear them out there. What do you do in round 2? You only have you don't know how much time you have, but you only have a certain amount of time before he dies.
God, I don't know. I don't want to kill him, but also he has to die.
Politics. Ain't it fun? You don't have to kill him. You could feed him your blood, heal him, get him out of there and drop him somewhere and hope that the story never gets out. If you do that, I'll need Jesse to tell me off camera at one point whether he would tell the story to strangers or not. But if you don't, he dies. The secret is safe, and you're going to have to deal with police and stuff, but the Camarilla will clean up the mess.
I know, JC. He would tell literally everyone. I don't think he could keep his mouth shut.
You've known each other for a year, so do you think that's the impression that JC would give? That JC can't keep his mouth shut, Jesse?
I mean, he does love to talk when he's very high. Like, normally he won't say nothing, but like if you ply him enough, he'll say
So here's what I'm going to say to you then, Shaun.
You are aware that he is a fan of telling tall tales, whether they were hallucinations or expounded upon realities. It's likely that if he did tell the story, nobody would believe him just because of his history and his past and what he usually does. But that doesn't necessarily mean that at some point in the future, the Camarilla would get wind of this tall tale and then look for him at some point. It's a gamble. There's no right or wrong answer here.
I don't want to disappoint Larson.
You could just tell him
So
you could tell him you killed him
dry
and took care of the body or something. You know he knows he ran out. He would have heard that. You can't bring a dead body down the street. So he would probably accept whatever excuse you gave him.
I'm gonna have to drain him
Gonna
dry.
kill him?
I'm gonna have to kill him.
You risk a hunger frenzy doing this. You know this too. Shaun would also know this. And that is insanely dangerous because then... So I think logically...
Then Bloodstone Frenzy.
They don't hunger frenzy, do they?
Not unless there's an exceptional circumstance. I don't think.
No. Here's the other thing you know that might give Shaun a hesitation. Dude took a fuck ton of drugs.
Mm-hmm.
You were going to be imbibing his...
Oh, I'd be off my tits.
Incredibly
yeah, you would.
off your rocker stone, and that would not be good to deal with the Camarilla, which is going to be here in probably like under an hour. Not to cock block you, but he did take 3 when you said if you wanted to have a good time, take 1 or 2. So Shaun is kind of in a bad spot right now.
Okay, yeah. I'm just gonna take all the drugs out of his pockets. I'm gonna take him up a couple of flights. And I'm gonna drop him down the stairwell.
Damn!
That's so
Ruthless.
brutal. Oh my God. I did not expect that. So we see as you struggle, not really struggle, you're a little stronger than most. Bring him up. How many flights? Do you bring him all the way up, or do you bring him just like 3?
Just like 4.
Okay, you bring him 4 flights, and you
Like-
hoist him up and over the edge. And is there a moment where Shaun maybe thinks better of it?
Yeah.
Does he go through with it anyway?
Yeah.
And with the hoist, the body slides over the edge. You can hear the limp body off the side of the edge, and it tumbles. It hits one of the railings on its right arm, dink, and then his head hits another railing on the second floor on the way down, cracking his neck really far back. That might have done something real bad. But as he tumbles forward, he lands face first on his stomach with a deafening thud. And after a few seconds, you watch his blood begins to very slowly pool from underneath his face. And as Shaun watches for a minute and takes maybe a deep breath and sees the book in his hand, he knows he's going to be dealing with the cops and the Camarilla very, very soon. And so he makes his way up the stairs, taking this book with weird, strange formulas inside that are unfamiliar to him. And as he closes the door, the camera stays in the hallway, and we hear the apartment door shut as Shaun disappears into his apartment. And that's where this little brief one-shot history of Shaun ends.